Hi, it's Gadget UK here again, back for part 3 of the amazing MiSTer build. If you missed part 1 and part 2, it's well worth checking those out. Massive thanks to Lee Smith's workshop, the guy who 3D printed and designed the shell that fits around this beauty. So you can see I shortened the cable here, going to the middle, tidied up the solder points there. I will swap this switch with a better one at some point. And the screws, because well, they're a bit long. I could actually grind those down and then put them back in, you know, so they just come through a bit, or use nuts and bolts there. But our new cable here now is joining across here. RJ45 is connected, RJ45 at the back. Everything is good, so the only thing I need to do is block the power thing here. I'm just going to cut a piece of black sticky plastic and stick it square over that port in the gap. Yeah, a little plastic 3D printed part that bungs into that and just blocks it. Might be an idea. I don't know. There you go. No one's going to accidentally stick power in there now, are they? It looks alright. You know, it looks fit for purpose. Right, with these things here, I think the best thing is going to be some rubbery glue rather than super glue them down. I think some tiny little blob underneath and position it, and then get the lid on to sort of, you know, finally hold it in place. Let's see if I can. I don't need a lot, just like a little bit underneath each one here, and just centrally position it, being careful not to get too much on and get it down the side of the actual switch, because, well, that would be a bad day where the switch stops working, or is it glued down or something, if you see what I mean. Look, you see that's tilting. That'll do. Be careful not to knock them. And I've got a badge coming for this as well, so... And I can just about hear the fan. I think we need a power LED as well. I might fit one. I might fit one here, maybe, with a black plastic surround, you know, little thing to clip the LED in. Yeah, and then the badge can go to its right, maybe. But you can tell it's powered on because the keyboard lights up as well. One of the nice things when you do the update all, it's in screensaver there, it's dimmed the display, I think, is, yeah, the background artwork. You can get that, and you can press F1 to toggle that. That's incidentally something you can do. So I think the default is like noise, like that. But once you've got a keyboard connected, you can go through, and when you do the update all, you can choose to have artwork and stuff, and that varies. So I'll show you what I mean. If I press the top switch, I'm being careful with that switch because we've just got glue on it. And what we should get this time is a different one. It's like random each time. There may be ways you can specify. There you go. Totally different game. But this artwork is just amazing. All of the things I've seen that people have done for this is just absolutely incredible. The community effort that's gone into the MiSTer is just second to none, really. So I'm still waiting for the RAM. I'll show you what happens if you've not got the RAM you need. I'm guessing the same thing happens with some of the smaller games when you've not got any RAM at all, like the RAM board that I've got in now, the 32 meg. For example, Street Fighter Alpha 3, if I load that, it does actually boot, and everything, doesn't give me any errors, strangely enough. There's no checks or anything, it's just it loads the core, assigns the RAM, puts ROM in RAM, I think. So you can hear it sounds fine, the game works, but, well, the graphics are messed up. And I'm guessing it's because it uses some of that RAM for the ROM. The graphic data would probably go in the RAM, and it's not there, the sprites and things. This game's a bit of a strange one, because when the game actually shows you the demo in a minute, the two character sprites are alright. But all of the, you know, background stuff, tiles and things, it's all messed up there. So I'm hoping the 128 meg will fix that, and give me Neo Geo support. I haven't tested Neo Geo yet, but with the RAM I've got, you can't play Neo Geo games, I don't think. Yeah, you can see what I mean. The main sprites are alright there, everything else is messed up. But there were lots of games that do work okay. Lots of the CPS2 ones are still a problem because of RAM. But if I was to load the Punisher, I did a repair of the bootleg Punisher, that's on my channel. So I think that's a CPS 1.5 or 1.1, I'm not sure if it's a CPS 1 or CPS 1.5. But with a 32 meg, you certainly got enough, I think. Get what the credit button is for this. There we go. Yeah, the graphics are alright here, look. I mean, there may be a problem later into the game, I don't know. I've not tested much with this. I mean, it looks and plays just like the original hardware. The Q sound is amazing sounding on this. Some serious effort gone into all the cores on the MiSTer. Yeah, so that's one that works. Well, as I say, I think it's CPS 1.5. Correct me if I'm wrong. But then if I load, say, I don't know, Knights of the Round, I think that's one. This is CPS 2, is it? And sometimes you'll get a ROM error there as well, incidentally, if you've not got enough RAM. And that could confuse you. You could think the ROM set is invalid, and I don't think it is. I think it tries to load the ROM into RAM, then the core starts pointing at the RAM as if that's ROM, and it goes, you've got a corruption, you know, it's not past the checksum. So that looks alright, doesn't it? This one might be the one that works, I don't know. How do you put credit in this one? Oh, there we go. Yeah, this one's alright. It might be Tower of Doom. I might be thinking of the Tower of Doom. Yeah, look, that looks okay. No issues there, I don't think. Yeah, it looks okay. So let's try D&D. Is it D&D? Shadow over Mystara. And you get this clue here where it sort of sticks on the loading bit, and I think that's a clue that actually there isn't enough RAM. I could be wrong. So all this looks alright, and it sounds okay. It's going to prove to be wrong now, isn't it? Oh no, look, there you go. I think that's RAM. I think that's the case of, you know, there's not enough RAM for the ROM. The graphics ROM, that is. So yeah, it'd be interesting to retest these when the 128 meg module arrives. They're not all the same either, you know, they all work at different speeds, the RAM boards, depending on the RAM chips that are on them. I think they say as long as you get one that'll go, you know, RAM that'll work up to about 130 megahertz, you should be alright. Nothing uses any more than, is it 124 or 126 at the moment? So 130 is really what you want to try and aim for. And I'm not sure whether the RAM I've ordered is going to be any good compared to the RAM that I originally ordered, which I cancelled, because that RAM was like £20 more, and that was guaranteed tested up to maybe 140 megahertz, I can't remember. So I may end up changing the RAM. Yeah, that's the point. It won't come out of that because we can't see what we're doing. The majority of them, I would say, work fine with 32 meg, but you get on CPS 2 and Neo Geo, you definitely need the additional RAM. Well, is it me that just likes to go around destroying environments in games? Like, see what you can smash up, what you can't. It's like many games, this, where it has the power-ups where you're like, I wish I'd not picked that up. The bomb is a good example of that. A lot of the time you're better off just staying with your fists unless you get the rocket launcher. So, the next thing I want to test here, actually it's micro USB, is my PS4 DualShock 4 controller, is it? Wired. So, I don't think it'll work wirelessly unless you've got, I think you need the Bluetooth dongle, don't you? I did a little bit of research. There you go, that's powered up, look. And one of the most common recommended controllers was the DualShock 4. Hey, it works. That is so cool. And I'll be honest, the PlayStation 4 controller is one of my favourite controllers. I really like it. Oh, that's so cool. Let's put a bit of R-Type Leo on. That's interesting. ROM test not good. ROM load check not good. What? This worked previously. I'm starting to think that RAM is loosely fitted, like it's not powered properly or something. Because we can't start it. Unless that RAM is borderline at the speed this needs it at. I've just hit the reset there. Let's just run the RAM test here. I think the way this works, this shows you how many banks you've got or something, which is 1. Does that mean 32 meg? Or does that mean less than 32 meg? The 167 is the speed it's currently testing at. Green is how many passes. But then periodically, when you get a failure, it slows down. It goes down a little bit, I think. So that's tested at the 167 megahertz, I think. But at some point that'll reduce. It'll go 166. One minute, then it'll go 165. And I've tested this, so this works well up to about 133, I think, or something like that. Let's just power this off. I'm wondering if I've got a supply issue here, you know. Like all the things on the USB hub are lowering the 5-volt rail. Let's just take this out. Good God, that's in firm. That's it. Controller nearly drops on the floor then. And these pins here, you've got to make sure they go into the 3 connections there. Look, it's alright now. Yeah, that's the experience I had before. So that RAM module makes a really bad fit. So I've given this PlayStation 4 DualShock 4 a go.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Should really got controls on it. You don't have a charge shot, do you? Oh. So let's just test that. That button's crap. It's like, that doesn't feel like it's clicking very well either, if I'm honest. I think that's just that the reset. Yeah, so I'm going to need to peel that one off. Thing is, it's not perfectly central. When you push it down, it doesn't really click. So I'm going to get a tiny bit more glue there, I think. So my new RAM module has arrived. It looks nice, a nice white PCB. And it's come with a card here, and a Taylor. Advertising and PR, Addict magazines. Amiga Addict. That's interesting. So, I'm not sure if she's assembling, or someone in her team's assembling these. I mean, it says PR, which is weird, isn't it? So as a PR person, building RAM upgrades in the spare time, or is it surplus requirements? I don't know then. Amiga Addict magazine, are they assembling boards and things themselves now? I don't know. This side faces outward. Simulant.uk, and that's the website I ordered it from. Yeah, it's got a bit of a flux summy on the front, can you see that? Yeah, so it needs a clean. Yeah, so the chips used on these: Alliance AS4C32M 16SB-7TTN XS-D V2.5, copyright 2019 by Alexei Melnikov. Anyway, let's put that there. Just take the top off there. It was just sort of sat there, ready for the memory module basically. And hang on, this side faces outwards, so I'm just going to go that way around. The interesting thing with this versus that one, let me take this one out. You'll see this has got those 3 pins that make a bit of a bad connection if you don't get it aligned right here, that go into the inner 3 that are exposed on the thing there that you can't quite see. So that's interesting. Let me just check what chip that is. AS4C 16M 16SA-6TCN. So maybe this one's rated faster, but what it is half the size of those chips, and this is 32 meg, which makes those 64 meg each. It's quite easy just to do the maths from the part number there. Anyway, this side facing outwards, so carefully align this like, hang on, that. Just push one of those. So that shows us 128 meg. That's just given us an error at the speed it started at. Another error, 149. So it's not as good as the memory I had. Another error. When you see errors here and that goes down, it's moving slower and slower and slower. 147 megahertz, 146 megahertz, and ultimately, wherever it stops is your happy speed. So yeah, I'm questioning the quality of this. But the fact is, we're getting no errors here just now, and it's going up, up, up as this stays at 142 megahertz. And the 3, as I say, indicates the memory size, and you can see that if I go down to help, readme. It's quite nice you can read readmes this way. It says here, 0 is no memory board, 1 is 32 meg, 2 is 64, 3 is 128, and there are some keys you can press to control things. C on 128 meg module switches between chips. There are 2 chips, bank switch, bank selection between them, controlled separately. So what we need to do here is press C, actually, just to toggle the bank. Let's just try and get out of that. How do you get out of that? Is it going? Oh yeah, it's going. Now if I press C, I see now. You've got that, or both. What I don't like about this test is it's a bit dumbed down, isn't it? Let's be honest. So what I mean is, it's not telling us the exact, information here. Like some verbosity to say what size RAM, where, from where to where does it need to test, how far percentage-wise it's got through the test. Because if we had something like that, I could just leave this running for X number of minutes, come back and go, it's 100% at 141 megahertz. Do I need to wait for this to get right to the end? How long would that take? Do I need to leave it going 24 hours? It's like, I don't know, I'm in the dark with it. So that test, whilst it's useful, it has its limitations. Just hit the B button and it's just reset. So yeah, anyway, I think we'll load a core. Let's add a credit. So all this worked. It was the characters of the main sprites and things and the enemies once it started. Yay, they work now. I think they do. I'm pretty sure I tested this and it didn't work. Another one that's a definite was Street Fighter Alpha 3. I did show you that before. Let's load that. Yay, looking good so far. That's incredible. Sounds amazing with that Q sound.
Street Fighter Alpha 3. Street Fighter Alpha 3.
2 coins per play. It was a bit pricey, wasn't it? I used to play this quite a bit on the GP2X.
Nobody blink. Triumph or die.
You're really pinning me down now, aren't you? You need to get your bar charged like she's got hers, and then I think you do like 2 hot opens like without the fire. I'll try it in a minute if I can get it maxed out. No. Can't make you do it. There we go. Oh. Yay, I won by the skin of my teeth. It's looking great though, isn't it? I thought it was like a 6-player, a bit like Turtles and a bit like Simpsons, similar sort of hardware from Konami. Oh, it's not Konami, it's Capcom. So maybe this is a beat 'em up. I'm sure there's an X-Men from Konami. Maybe I'm getting confused. Yeah, this is a beat 'em up one. Anyway, that's working. I'm sure it didn't work before. I don't know none of the moves here. Street Fighter. I swear I didn't pick Street Fighter. Oh no, I did. Pro gear. Yeah, I don't know how I selected the wrong thing there. And you can use these RAM modules in pairs as well. You can fit one on the other side. I'm not quite sure how you do it when you've got the top, the board I've got fitted, the analog board there. Start and selector swapped around here, I think, on this game. Yeah, that's looking sweet. Hope that was the special weapon, was it? Oh my god, that sound is so irritating. I'm not sure if this is a hack, you know. Should you really start with that level of weapon? I don't think so. Oh my god. Yeah, I need to load something else that's piercing my ears. So yeah, I'm not sure what to do with my old 32 meg module now. I mean, it's infinitely not that useful. That looks alright. Yay, that looks alright as well. Yay. You can call that a success. It is a wee bit loud, isn't it? Yeah, that's working as well.
Dungeons and Dragons. Welcome to the D&D world.
Might be able to start there, skip that. Yeah, it's looking sweet. Oh yeah, here's the boss. Quite why I've changed purple and everything's changed purple, I don't know. It's like the purple room. Everyone's purple, matching costumes. Right, you knew this point was coming. Neo Geo ROMs. I've put the entire .neo collection on there. It's quite hard getting that card in, I have to admit. And before this point, I also stuck the games originally on a USB stick and stuck that in. Didn't find anything, and then I realised you've got to have the same path that you have, the same hierarchy, the file structure that you have on the main SD card. So in other words, if I look at this card now, there's a folder called Games, and inside there is Neo Geo in uppercase, and you copy the files in there, and then when you go into the actual core, it finds them. But anyway, I've got rid of that USB stick now, stuck them on the main SD card, just because the micro SD card's like 512 gig. So I've got plenty of space on it for some core collections of most consoles. And then we've got an extra folder. I should have Bad Apple, let's try that. You've also got to have in the same root there, where those games are, those ROM files, you've got to have the ROM files for the Neo Geo, like the low ROM, the SFix ROM, the 00 dot something ROM. There's like 3 or 4 of them, including the Unibars. Oh, there we go. I think A is Y, actually, on this pad. Wow, that looks really smooth. You know, got some aliasing going on the edges here. It looks incredible. That's probably the best Bad Apple demo I've seen. It's better than the Mega Drive version. This is so cool. I have to admit to having played a few Bad Apple demos on this since I got it. Yeah, it just made me laugh. When it goes round to the end, it comes back here again. That made me laugh. It reminded me of the guy that works at Watermelon, I forget his name now, that created Paprium and stuff. Corrupted graphics, update your garbage emulate. Someone had to do it the right way. Giga Power Edition. I'm tempted to just try 61 point whatever, see what happens. But it played perfectly. The animation and everything, compression, everything's just incredible here. Someone did a really good job of this. Especially considering it's a tile-based system. I'm not really sure how he's achieved that. It's not like you can shift things around into, well, in VRAM and... I don't know, maybe you can. It is incredible. I thought the Mega Drive one was impressive. This is just like, kicks it into touch completely. A tiny drip of glue under that again. I'm going to stick the top back on to secure it. But I figure, let's just give this the love it deserves and pull this back out and clean it up. Because, well, it's a bit fluxy on the top, look. Yeah, it's the one thing that bugs me when I buy things like this, when occasionally... I mean, let's be honest, it's very clean, but... well, it's not super clean, is the bottom line. I like things to be super clean. Why would you not make it super clean? It's probably just been through an ultrasonic cleaner and that's it. And from my experience, ultrasonic cleaners leave streaks and things depending on what you actually clean them with, you know, the liquid. Nothing beats IPA. It really doesn't. And if we have a look at that now, that looks super clean. Spotless, absolutely pristine. I'm not being critical, but it doesn't take much effort to clean something up so that it is super clean, like that. And everything else is here. This is the thing. If I stick that in as it was with the flux on it, I'm going to be looking at it every time with the lid on going, I know there's flux on that PCB, on those chips don't look great. Now they do. Yeah, I think these will do it. These look the same. They've got the same kind of head, the same kind of thread, and the same kind of length, I think. They're like the ones I use for Sega Master Systems. It's just, yeah, it's going in no worries at all there. Bear in mind, nothing has gone into that screw hole. That's the first time a screw has gone into it. I say a full set of screws, yay. Yeah, and if you were paying attention, I'm going to need to go back in there because I've got this tape adapter. Anyway, we can put the old RAM board away. I'm curious what that's for. It says P2R. And the same family of chips, so I was originally thinking maybe 5 volts versus 3.3 or something, but that wouldn't make any sense at all. So I don't quite know why this needs to tap off connections there and the other one doesn't. It just seems a bit bizarre to me. Right, so I took the board back out again. I'm going to try and fit the tape in input here. It's going to need me to drill a hole in the back of the case for this. So, well, the first thing is to try and disconnect this. And obviously the complication now of having the power connected underneath soldered on. So I need to undo the hex things here again. Yeah, so on the MiSTer, you know, the D10 itself, this goes up, hang on, here, onto that connector. It's got an extra level of PCB sandwiched on top there to stand it off, so that it fits pretty snugly. Yeah, this mounts there, doesn't it? So we need to undo that nut. Yeah, trying to get that just right there. I mean, it's in line with the other connector looking at it on the board, so if you sort of squidged it right up this way here and then get the nut on, I'm not even sure that nut's going to go through now. So that's that in place, so that should now sandwich with the DE10, give us our port, but we need a hole drilling in the back of the case for that. So I may redo this at some point and put a 7-pin connector on there. I've got a 2-pin connector here. And in fact, if I have a look at the pin out, maybe I should put a wider one on. Yeah, just thinking ahead. You see, you've got 4 pins here, 5 volt power disc user. So you know what, I'm going to put a 4-pin connector on there. The other 3 pins don't seem to be used. I can confirm that if I have a quick look on the underside. You know, they are used, they go somewhere. But, well, I've got nothing that uses them. Yeah, that's right. So we can put a 4-pin connector on there. You don't need a 7-pin connector at all. It just makes sense to have one that's a different size to the 4-pin connector up there, which we don't have fitted, and the 5-pin one here, and that's for external buttons. I think it even says on it, yeah, external buttons. So I'll get a 4-pin one of these out my Molex kit here. Right, that was an absolute trauma. I've got an irregular shaped hole there, but it's the best I can do. Hopefully everything works. I've joined the 5 volts back up, and I'm now going to secure the board back in place. If I can find all the screws and things, I don't know where anything is on this table anymore. Yeah, so I've done the exact same thing. You'd think I'd learned my lesson, the melter hole there. I'm just going to make it marginally wider. It needs to be big enough for this LED receptacle. So I'm just being very, very, very careful here to try and go nice and straight, like that. That'll do. Got a bit of solder on the end there. Oh, go away, solder. Today I'm bodging with the UK. I'm just going to do a bit of that, like that. Yeah, that's not going to quite fit, so now I'm going to start filing it. Woohoo! I've got the LED receptacle in there. Did take me about 20 minutes of faffing around. I used the grinding pen there. There'll be a link to the video top right for that. Yeah, my thumb is mortally wounded. Well, maybe not mortally. Anyway, I'll get the LED in here now, and I should be able to push it, and then it should clip if I do this right. Well, there we go. Clip. A nice LED. I'll leave you to guess what colour it is. Yeah, so the badge is going to go here. I'm going to have some nice washers to mask around there. I've got some blood on there or something. It's a bit red. Yeah, I think that's blood. I'll wipe that with some IPA in a minute. Anyway, I just need to get a wire now. And where am I going to route this? Maybe see if I can turn it that way and bend those over. Sort of like that, just so they're nowhere near the DE10. Right, we are pretty much there. It's been painful with the sweating blood and tears and this, you know, like literally. So I'm going to put a large piece of heat shrink over there, small piece of heat shrink over the red, which is going to be not the red, the orange. It's positive. It's actually 5 volts, I think, on this, and then I just move that out of the way. Let's just test this LED. I'm going to do that off camera. You can see it in a minute. It'll be a surprise. Yeah, the positive is the longer one here. So let's join the orange first, the positive. Hang on, let's just tin these up. Bring the hot air in, being careful not to melt the PLA. Because the thing is, I assume it's PLA, it might not be, but the 3D, you know, the plastic here, has probably got quite a low melting point. So, yeah, I just need to be a little bit careful here if I don't want to melt everything. So I'm just going to come in at a sort of slightly shallow angle. There we go. So yeah, they're not quite the right length, are they, in terms of each other. Right, I cut the spade off the back there just because I'm getting cheesed off with it. I can redo that. I may even put the 7-pin connector. It's supposed to be on there at some point. Anyway, so the red, the orange, wants to be to the right. Novabug's card just fell over there. I can't see where the flipping holes are. That's it. So that's on, and it's fairly straight. So let's now try and fit this in here and try and get this over the buttons. So let's switch it on and see if the LED works. Hang on, where's the switch? Lost the switch. Hey! There you go. I bet you didn't guess that colour, did you? So testing the ADC here, you know, the audio input through the ADC. You've got different options, 3.3 or line level. 3.3, I'll show you. Hang on, I'll get rid of the menu. Oh, how do you do it now? Testing, nothing, yeah. Ooh! I have to make high-pitched noise. Don't worry, I've not lost it. Although I feel like I have lost it, to be honest. Here we go, line level, get rid of that. So I'll make that high-pitched noise again. Brace your ears. Woo! See that white line? Woo! I can't even make a high-pitched sound. You can just see like a little line. I can't whistle. It's not loud enough. I'm trying to make a sound into headphones here. This is the problem. It's like I can't get high enough pitch sound. Blowing over it, you saw the white speckles. So I'm fairly confident if I connected up a sound source like my phone, for example. I don't have a 3.5 to 3.5mm cable. Then I could play I don't know, a tap file or something and load something into one of the emulators. We'll do that in another video. Anyway, I'm confident that it is actually working. You just saw the spike there as I plugged it out. Right, so by a minor miracle, my badge arrived. And I had a refund, so I've just contacted the seller because he didn't respond to messages. It was like a week of him not responding to me saying, has it even been shipped, because the tracking number leads nowhere. And it still leads nowhere, despite the fact it's been delivered, so he must have typed it in wrong or something. I need to check the packaging and see what the tracking number actually was. Anyway, so I sent him a message saying I'll buy another and he can just not send it because this one's arrived. Yeah, I'm fair like that, I think. Alright, his communication's been crap, I'll be honest, but I think the quality is really nice there. So that's going to look nice, isn't it? I went with something with a rainbow band. To match the style of this, it's going to look quite nice against the black, but it's going to offset quite nicely against the rainbow coloured LED. You know, it's a random colour every half second or so. So, yeah, I need to clean that down at the surface there. Yeah, there we go. I think you'll agree. That looks pretty nice. Very nice, in fact. Switch it on. It's one of those games that makes you feel good about losing when you get the game over, yeah, at the end of it. So, I thought I'd show you one of the issues I've got. I was going to show you this core. Now I can't, because it doesn't work. It got updated a month or so back. I think over just after Christmas. Where's it gone now? Robocop. And the core got updated. It was working. Now it's not. Now it's out of range. 15.6 kHz, 57 Hz. So this is the thing. I can't get into the menu, but it's out of sync in both places. Yeah, and there's the issue. If you look at that lower resolution there, 1920 by 1080, 148.5 megahertz. That's the issue. That the TV can't handle that. So that's really annoying. Hooray! I fixed it. I had set the minimum FPS to 50, the minimum to 60, or the refresh rate that is, and give it a default video display resolution. And I set it to 1080p, 60 Hz, and that's worked. It kind of looks better, which you'd expect for 1080p, but I don't know, it's a bit more blockier than it was, even though it's at 1080p, even the interface. But anyway, it's working, but that's just took me an hour to work that out. So I'll show you that in the INI file, and I'll show you the other things I'd changed in the INI file as well. There's just one or two things in there that you'd be, well, in my case here, I would have been stupid to not set, and I think that it might help you out if you're setting one of these up for the first time. Yeah, forcing the screen resolution to 60 Hz. I actually think that's alright. You can, of course, just change the scale here to V integer, and you can see that fits a bit better. But it seems to be fitting perfectly on the display there. Yeah, but herein lies the next problem. Is like when I go back to a game that I played quite a bit here, you can see this now doesn't fit on the screen, and there's no consistency between cores. This is one thing that is frustrating me a little bit, and I understand that there's a lot of work goes into these cores, but like the same video things are not there. Yeah, so like I can't do the scaling of the image here, which means if I want to play this game properly, I need to go back to 720p. Right, I got around it by creating an alternative profile. You can see in this profile here, it's my default setup how it was. So I'm not specifying the screen resolution or max and min FPS, you know, say FPS frequency they can go up to. If I exit, hang on, about this, here you go. You can go up down there to the config line and you can change the config line. If you change that, it's going to be back into the menu, but it's 1080p now with a limit on the resolution. Yeah, and you can see now when I say limit on the resolution, it's affecting the refresh rate. So yeah, obviously that game doesn't work properly with the settings and things there. I can't change that, can't scale it or anything. There might be a way to scale it in the actual configuration file, but if we go into another game, let's load RoboCop again. That should work. Yay, that works. But likewise, if I was to switch the core back to the main one, it'll load the game and it'll get out of sync or out of range. Just showing you the MiSTer.ini file here. I didn't need to change much in it. The first one here you can see was video mode. That's fixed my RoboCop issue, and I did this in the alternative ini, and I'll talk about it in a minute. You can have multiple of these ini files, one for each profile. You know, you saw in the footage a minute ago, we had main and we had alt one, I think. Each one of those is a separate ini file. My first one was 720p, the default, and the alternative one I created was set this way here to 1920 by 1080, 60 Hz. And then the other change I did was to implement the refresh min and refresh max. I think they were commented out as a minimum of 50, maximum of 60. And then you can also see I had to make a change here to the brightness, video brightness. Initially, and I didn't show you, it was really, really bright. So I adjusted the video brightness to 40. I think the default's 50. So I pulled it down. It was like over bright, I think. And to create a second profile there, like I did, you just copy the MiSTer.ini and rename the copy to, and I'll stick it up left here, you rename it to MiSTer_alt_ and a number starting at 1. That's your first additional profile. But you could have alt_2, alt_3 potentially, I think. So I've ordered a Bluetooth dongle for the controller. That'll add more latency. Bear in mind there's latency already with USB. That's why the snack adapters exist. And the snack port on this would go here, but I need an adapter that goes from the PCB to here, so I'm going to wait to see what Lee Smith's workshop did with that. I've asked him. He said he was going to check, but he never got back to me, so he might come back in this video or in the previous video. I don't know. Bits all over that. That's one of the problems with that plastic, is it attracts particles. But one of the things I'm going to do is I keep flipping this over and trying to lift it off the bench to show you when it's completely flat. It's really difficult, so you've got to press both sides at once to grab it, because you can't get underneath it because there are no gaps underneath. So I'm just going to sit it like that. Bear in mind the keyboard hangs out when you do that. We've got something there, look, a bit of white stuff stuck on it. But anyway, it should be okay. But the thing is, flipping it over feet, it's really annoying when I can't get my hands underneath it. So I've got some black feet here. It would potentially look better with round ones, maybe bigger ones than that. But I'm going to go with these just because I've got an absolute ton of them and I'm never going to use them for anything else. But we've now got 4 feet on it. Just try and lift it back up that way. Hopefully. Yeah, there's a little bit of clearance there now to lift it up, which is what I was aiming for. I played all the way to the end on this on the PC Engine. I love this game. I've played it through quite a number of times. You get quite a few continues as well. Maybe unlimited continues, I don't know. But anyway, it was perfect all the way through. 1943, is it? Yeah. Obviously it's got a subcode, I'll show you. Kai. It's a brilliant game though, I love that game, I love the music on it. But yeah, it's just like a real PC Engine, it's just incredible. This was filmed much later and you're on wobble cam here. The bit of black, plastic that I had taped on there, it fell off ultimately. So what did I stick in there? I was thinking about my comment about 3D printing. So I filled it with this which is the end cap from a DC multimeter, a probe set. It fits perfectly. That just stops him from sticking power in there, because obviously we've got power on the other side. So weeks later, you can see here, we're in March now, 31st of March. It's been incredible, this device, it really has. I can't sing enough praises for the MiSTer. I'm so blown away by the amount of functionality that is packed in from all of the creative people that work on the cores here, you know, the arcade cores, the console cores. Hang on, let's just go back to computer cores as well. I can show you some different cores here now, and I think what I'll probably do is on the MiSTer channel is do a short video on each of the cores at various points, just to show you this kind of functionality you get in there. It's just like the PlayStation one in terms of it looks like a real Saturn. Hang on. Yeah, you can see here I've got a filter enabled. Let's just show you which one. If I go right, where is it? Video processing. So it's a post video filter. So I've got interpolation on there, medium. And for the vertical filter, I've got scan lines, brightness, 110, 55, whatever that is. And for the scan filter, the same as vertical. So it's really cool that you can have those post-processing filtering on the HDMI. You can't do that on VGA. If I was outputting VGA now, it would, well, as long as I've got a monitor that can handle the frequency of the VGA, it would be probably the native frame rate. So you need a monitor, you know, an old school CRT or something like that, or one of the newer ones. I mean, I do have one of those ones from Palmer and Sparks that will display correctly, with, you know, with a double scan rate is the point. Yeah, so we'll insert a disc. Let's just find something. Panzer Dragoon. I never played that back in the day, but yeah, you'll see. Nice fast loading. Obviously using the high Saturn BIOS here. That didn't work. Hang on. Now I know this works. It probably is the region. This is one thing I found that's a bit hit and miss on here, so we'll change that to USA, and I'll do a reset. Yeah, the one thing that I found a bit unusual, let's say inconsistent, is the automatic region. Look, see, it's booted now. Automatic region detection. For some reason, it's a bit hit and miss. I'm not sure why. It could be that this ISO has had its region changed and it doesn't correspond to what the disk is or something. But manually changing it to US, you can see that has loaded. So let's just hit a few buttons here, try and skip past this if we can. I'll turn it up a little bit. So if you're familiar with this game, you'll know how it should sound. It sounds incredible though. It sounds just like it's coming from a CD. Normal game. Just watch a tiny bit of this. Granted, the heater is masking out a little bit. It's amazing though. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, that's about enough of that, I think. So yeah, you get your cheesy FMV, which was synonymous with early CD games on the PC, on the Saturn or the PlayStation. But that looks amazing, doesn't it? I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think this game really showcases the Saturn, but some people may disagree. I don't know. It's like I say, I never played it, so I have no nostalgia for it. But it's working okay, yeah? I don't think it's a very good game, but lots of people love that game. Let's just load something else. Let's try... Not sure I can reload. What's the... I don't know what the reload button is. What's the reload? So let's start a game on that. See if I can reload on this. I don't know what the reload is again. It's let's just try and fire a load of shots off. Yeah, so reload.
Yeah, eat this.
Let's fire the grenade. I don't know how you reload again. It's another one of these. What is it with the reload? Right, let's try that again. I have to admit that was painful trying to map the controls to a PlayStation pad. So let's give that another go. See, look, hang on. What's going on here? Oh, the D-pad is working there. Ah, right, I can reload now. So, yeah, hang on. Yeah, it's right trigger now. Yeah. It's so hard, this version. Yeah, reloading is sword.
There is firing in the terminal.
Yeah, there is. Firing outside the terminal as well. Oh.
Not me.
Shot an innocent person there. I don't know why I'm laughing. The reality would be pretty traumatic. Shooting somebody who was innocent. Anyway, you can see that is working okay. It's potentially, it feels a bit slower than I'm expecting it, but do you know what? I remember that on the Saturn. To start with, the Saturn version was nowhere near as good as the PlayStation one. The PlayStation one felt about 30 or 40% faster, smoother. Sweet. It's just like a real PC engine. It's incredible. It sounds amazing. The engine, it's incredible. The flickering you see here is just an artifact on the CV with HDMI because of the grill pattern on the grids as it goes across. I think my Philips TV does that in the other room, you know, that's the LCD display. Suffers the same issue. It's ages since I played this. I can complete this on one credit, one life. Right now I'm not doing very well though. One soldier left. Missed a clip there. You can see though, it's just amazing, it's perfect. Amazing is the word that I've said so many times throughout this video. It's amazing. So let's just try something else. It's just a little weird shoot 'em up for the PC engine. It's got this weird eccentric music. It's cool though. Anyway, you can see that works fine. There's probably a key you can press, like Shift F1 or Shift F8 or something. 8,1. There you go. It's like, that just looks exactly, if I had a C64 connected now to this TV, that's exactly how it looks and sounds. I mean, to the pixel perfectly. It's just absolutely amazing. The only difference is it's HDMI, so it's just incredible. Incredible is what it is. Yeah, at this point here, I probably need to swap the joysticks because the controller is not starting the game. Yeah, it just swaps the 2 ports around. There we go, now it works. But isn't that a cool feature? Having that swap option like that, it's just really quick and easy to swap the thing over. It just looks amazing. We could try some of the filters there. Have a look in the audio video. So, I mean, look how many features and settings and things you've got here. You can change the VIC between the old VIC and the new VIC. An early 856 whatever there, which is cool. Change the aspect ratio, vertical cropping, yes or no. You can change the scaling. And then you can have left SID and a right SID. Let's have the right SID as the 8580. So, dual SID stuff straight away. You can change the filter on the left SID there, look. So that's cool. Let's leave it on the default. The right SID ports, yeah. So that's what address it sits at basically. So you can have true stereo for those things that support that. You can have the digifix on the 8580. You can load custom filters for that, and then you've got other options at the bottom here. Sound expander is disabled. Digimax, stereo mix. It's just incredible. Right, let's try that. Yeah, so we've got 2 SIDs now. They'll be slightly different, left channel versus right channel. Can't really hear it very much on this game. But if we were to load something else, let's try and load a cartridge maybe. What do you do? I think Matt Gray is, or whoever it is that owns the music to this, is like copyright this, so I'm probably going to have to talk all the way over this. But I'll just report back on whether I can tell whether that sounds different left channel versus right channel, because we've got 2 different SIDs. Obviously direct capture would help. Yeah, the stereo on that is just as I remember from actual different SIDs on each side. Because of the frequency response difference between the SIDs, you kind of get this sound that goes kind of like that. It is going like that from side to side on certain parts of the music there. You get like a Doppler type thing like that, because one SID behaves differently with its filtering versus the other one. Just amazing. I'm blown away, so blown away. Yep. That sounds amazing. One of the SIDs though, I think the 8580 or whatever that is making it sound a bit strange. Yeah, what I would say is nowhere near as much grumbliness as you get with an actual 6581. Wow. Made my ears hurt changing the address there, the port. There are a lot of filter options though, aren't there, in general? Yeah, I think it does it justice. It's like, it really does. It does it justice, but it's not quite the same as a real 6581, is the whole point there. It's very close though. Yeah, let's just change the core to an Amstrad CPC. Novabug, look at that. Novabug will want to have a play around with one of these, for sure. That's really cool. Right, let's just see if we can select a disc. What it's doing, I don't know. Oh no, there we go, it's worked. So this is an interlaced display. You can tell that that's shimmering. So that's where if you're outputting via VGA, it would just look so much better. If I didn't know I was playing on the MiSTer though, I would think that was just like a genuine CPC with some HDMI output. Obviously you get all the same delays loading things and stuff, because it runs at exactly the same clock speed as you'd imagine it would. But some of these cores have options for overclocking and speeding things up, etc. But yeah, that's just like a real CPC. It's just as hard as a real CPC as well. Oh, straight into that I went. Yeah, so there may be the odd bug in this core at the moment, because I'm not convinced the sound is 100% compared to how I remember this arcade game. Yeah, so if you subscribe to Jatego, and there's 1 or 2 people doing this on, beta cores on Patreon, you get early access. Just turn that up a little bit. Fantastic. It gives you a key file, and you just copy it to the relevant place on your SD card, and then these games are unlocked, and they work. And Update All will download the code, the cores, the game, the ROMs, etc. automatically, which is cool. Absolutely brilliant. Right, let's stick a few credits in. I won't show you much of this, I'll just show you what I think's wrong with this core at the moment, but it might be my memory that's incorrect. Again, I've got no post-filtering going on here, so it looks a bit blocky, a little bit pixely because I have no filters on. But I could enable scan lines or whatever. Yeah, if I wait for him to disappear. Hang on. Yeah, I want that sound to go, I think it's that weird noise. And if I do the dancing, that feels like that's doubling up a bit on the samples. Feels like they're rapping slightly or something, I don't know. So there could be a bug there in this core, but it is still in beta. This is probably why this one hasn't gone public yet. Nevertheless, absolutely amazing. But one of the other cores that I really wanted here, if I can find it, one of those days today where I can't find what I'm looking for. It's because I went for a blood test this morning. I'm feeling a bit confused. There we go. Sunset Riders, one of the Konami games. Konami just produced so many amazing games across so many platforms, not just in the arcade. Yeah, that you can see that screen there. That's the beta stuff. That's beta, and you can still actually load this game without a key and at least see the title there. You might not get sound, I'm not sure. Again, no filters applied. That looks super blocky without filtering. It really does. I'll put filtering on in a minute just to show you how much better it looks with some filtering on this game. So let's start that. Such a cool game this though. It's kind of around that era of TMNT, like Konami again. Maybe the same hardware actually, or similar, very similar hardware. Good game on the SNES this. those are. It's like mysterious pixels stuck on the screen. Yeah, that's a bug, I think. Let's do scan lines brighter. Yeah, look at that now with scan lines on. It looks so much better. And I can have additional filter in there as well. He's nearly down.
Marry me with my money.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. So yeah, it's a bit loud. It's a very cool core though. So it's amazing that Jatago is working through some of these really desirable cores that people want to play. So there are obviously multiple solutions to cases and things. You know, you can get something like, I mean, I'll show you the OSSC here. If you imagine, you know, a case like that for the D10, you know, the stacked levels with the plastics around, you can get lots of different cases like that, you know, different colours of plastic, you know, clear ones. You can get ones that completely surround the sides and things and just expose the things. This is obviously not a D10 Nano here. And then you can get more comprehensive cases similar to this, but, you know, not accommodating the keyboard. For example, over on the Retro Man Collective, whatever it's called, Retro Collective, Retro RMC, you know, as you all learn, the Retro Collective, and I'll post a link down below to that. There's, you know, one that's PC Engine styled. It's got the round sort of lid part, and it looks very much like a PC Engine. You get things like that, but obviously you then need to plug in a keyboard, etc. This is why I think this is the best solution. If I had offers for other cases and things, I would kindly, you know, turn those down and say, look, you know, I've mentioned it on my channel, etc. But you know what? I prefer this case. I prefer one that holds the keyboard, just because, you know, this is kind of reminiscent of one of the old 8-bit, 16-bit computers, isn't it? An all-in-one, USB ports around the sides, you know, your video and your power connections and things. It's just really versatile. Yes, it takes a larger space on your desk, but if you're invested in using this for the computer side of things as well as the consoles and arcade cores, you're going to want a keyboard, and there's advantage of having a keyboard even if you're playing around just with the console and arcade cores, just because you can quickly, you know, press F12 to get the options up. You can press other keys to change settings, you know, but some of the stuff you can just do with a controller, so you don't necessarily need a keyboard. But I think the keyboard just, you know, completes this really, and it opens up everything and just makes everything so much easier. There's also like mini or micro ATX case style things you can get as well, you know, with an I/O board that goes with that. So, you know, those are quite nice, like the one from RMC. Well, it's not from RMC, it's from the electronics company that sits in the same building as RMC, isn't it? But nevertheless, you've seen that on RMC's channel. I mean, I'm not saying I won't build one of those at some point. I may do, because you know what I may get, if I'm lucky enough, I might try and get one of the MiSTer Pi boards and do a video on that, maybe. But, well, they're impossible to get hold of, so yeah, watch this space. And I may mix that with something like the one from the Retro Collective, you know, or some similar one, a mini or micro ATX case or something. But anyway, there's loads of options. This is the other cool thing with the MiSTer. It's very homebrew in the sense that you can build yours how you want to build it, really. You can expand it how you want to expand it. The one thing I didn't show in here is, you know, in the final thing here, we've got the I/O board from Lee Smith there. That's given me VGA out. I'll do a separate video on that, actually, I think, you know, showing you some of the VGA outside of things. But you can do away with that and fit a second RAM module, yeah, because you've got an I/O connection strip here and one down here. We've got the RAM board in there at the moment. The top one is used for the I/O board, which provides the LEDs and the buttons. You know, there's 2 other LEDs in here. I could expose those on here at some point as well. But you can remove that I/O board and fit an additional RAM module. And there are some cores that take advantage of having 2 RAM modules there. You know, in this case here, 128 meg. I could double that and have 256 meg. I think one of the Saturn cores uses that, and maybe the STV core does potentially. So some cores are cycle accurate, like the NES one now passes pretty much every test you throw at it. This game, Last Ninja on C64, you know, this works on any C64 I own. I can't pick up that key. It's like I've tried over and over here. There's some sort of pixel imperfect accuracy problem here. Maybe to do with collision detection or something, where I'm not able to pick that up. Unless I'm forgetting how you do it. You don't knock it off with anything, you just collect it like that. So I've been using this for the last 18 months. I quite, regularly. I haven't had much time, but you know, an hour here, half an hour there, etc. Sometimes a few hours in a week. Sometimes not using it for a week, etc. But anyway, there's been tons and tons and tons of updates. It's a thriving community for the MiSTer. It really is. There are 4 or 5 at least key guys to do the arcade cores that are currently pushing out, you know, new arcade cores. We've had the use of AI, and that's a debatable thing. I think someone used AI with, you know, what was known from schematics, partial schematics or full schematics. Some of the chip internals have already been done in FPGA previously, you know, things like the CPU Z80s and things like that, and the 68Ks and SH2s. There's a project on the horizon for the SH3 that's actually being worked on at the moment, I think, by someone. But the point is, you know, they've picked some of those core libraries, if you can call them that, you know, implementations of certain customs and things which are cycle accurate, and then used AI to fill in the gaps, looking at MAME source and stuff like that, and those things work exceptionally well. But is it really a proper replication in FPGA? I don't think it matters at the end of the day. The PGM stuff, IGS PGM is a good example. If I go up to organised here and have a look at collections by core, I think, MiSTer core. Yeah, if I find the IGS PGM, there it is. This is one I think that made use of AI, but we've got the whole library there. And every one of these games seems pretty much perfect. It sounds perfect, it looks perfect. If you compare it to an original board, it looks just, you know, and sounds just the same. Bear in mind, it's that orientation because I've got it, so it, you know, it's flipped it. You'll see in a minute, because this is one of those games that's portrait. Anyway, once you get past the boot screen there you go. That's why it's flipped. Stick your credit in. Start it. Yeah, it's perfect. It's better than MAME, for sure. I think it is anyway. I mean, there's probably not a lot in it. You could play this on MAME and think it sounds and looks identical. Point is, it is in FPGA here, and yeah, it plays exceptionally well. And it's the same for all the games in the IGS PGM core. I'm sure there'll be another bug fix or 2 yet. There always is. Like, not everything's perfect, but, well, it seems perfect to me. And I've played many of these. I've gone through many of the IGS ones. Anyway, that's just an example of where AI has been used. But AI is one of these things where it's, I would say that 30 or 40% of the developers are using it in some form. And people like Jatago, I believe, are, you know, doing all the reverse engineering and looking at things on a low-level hardware side with scopes and logic analyzers and, you know, reverse engineering the chips, decapping them, Vertex being involved in that, decapping some of the customs on the Konami boards. There are many chips that they've worked on in collaboration, Jatago and Vertex. So it is a mix, that's the thing, it's a mixture. The point I'm trying to make here is it's a mixture of, you know, true one-to-one, cycle accurate, perfect, you know, just as you'd expect, replication of the arcade board. Yeah, Sky Kid, I think it's the 3rd round, where the sky, you get snow, I think, when the snow comes down the arcade, but on this one it goes up, it goes diagonally the wrong way. And there may be the odd colour issue there, I'm not sure. Volume's a bit quiet on this one as well. But yeah, so many consoles, computers, arcade cores. There's just so much. The MiSTer is just absolutely incredible. It is literally one of the best things I've had the benefit of showing on my channel. You know, purchasing, building some of the parts from Lee Smith there, you know, the I/O board and stuff, and the custom shell. I crashed. But anyway, yeah, it is, you know, to quote some of the channels, the MiSTer is the gift that keeps on giving. It really is. The fact there's so many updates and stuff regularly and new stuff coming out for it. And the ROM for the update all wasn't with that for about a week. I provided my own ROM, but eventually when the ROM was there, it overwrote the ROM that I had. It plays and looks just the same. I must have had an earlier ROM, is the point. So yeah, you've got to provide your own ROMs in some instances, and certainly for the, you know, consoles and computer systems, you've got to provide your own ROMs, definitely. Listen. You can hear that. It's like it's way too quick. I'm sure the original arcade wasn't that fast, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe just the home versions couldn't do sound that fast. I don't know. So they didn't. They just did it slow. So I might be being overly critical about something that's not an issue there. The point is, that's one of those bugs, and it could be there for a while. Is the point? Like that Sky Kid, you know, 4th round snow going the wrong direction. And something else to show you that's been out for about a month now, and it's delighted me to see this. Yeah, Mega Drive, Paprium. So it's a Paprium specific Mega Drive core that's been cloned from the Mega Drive, one of the Mega Drive cores, and you can play Paprium, which is something that Watermelon were like, you'll never be able to play this game. It's security protected. It's got its own custom blah blah blah. It always amazes me how people come up with, you know, incredible protection mechanisms and stuff, and ultimately, if it runs on a CPU, yeah, all you've got to do, you know, is, in simple terms, is logic analyze everything the CPU is doing. Because if you can do that, you can actually read all the code that it's reading. You can see what it's doing in terms of, or make assumptions based on address decoding. Certainly, if you were to logic analyze any ROMs and things like that, it connects to. And then you can just decipher everything you need, really, and someone's reverse engineered it. Initially, this was ported onto the Mega EverDrive, I think, the Mega EverDrive Pro from Crix. And I think you needed a Mega, in theory, you needed a Mega CD to replicate the audio. But I think Crix has got that working in FPGA. So they've copied it here. It's using like a, you know, a simulated, if you like, in FPGA, Mega CD to do the CD audio track. So you've got the CD audio track, you've got all of the custom audio. There were some glitches with the mixing and potentially the DAC, I'm not sure, because it does sound a bit crunchy at times. There was also a bug when this first came out where the actual playback speed, it's the Paprium button, there you go, the pill. Yeah, there was a problem with the audio that's been fixed. This is version 0.5, I think, at the moment. But yeah, you can play Paprium on the MiSTer. And the reason I'm pleasantly surprised with this is because, you know what, let's be honest, Fonzie has just cheesed everybody off for like the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years. You know, great, he created a nice game. I paid for this, I own this, it's in a cartridge in the corner over there. The point is, lots of orders didn't get fulfilled. Since then, he's done multiple, you know, Kickstarter things and stuff, and that's all just like disappeared. I don't know what's happened. Don't know what's happened with people's money, but I don't know what's happened with people's original money. So you know what, you kind of reap what you sow. It's one of these. I don't think people would have targeted this in this way if people had got what they paid for. So yeah, it's there's a few bugs in it. Sometimes when you know, punch people and hit them a certain way, or you try and grab them like that, it doesn't quite animate right, like there's a frame missing or something. So there's the odd glitch, certainly in some of the address decoding, because you get a little bit further here, the point where you go on a lift and the lift sort of goes down, diagonal like that. Graphics are all messed up on that section, but most of the rest of the game is pretty much perfect. Yeah, here's another AI core that deserves a look at. I'd never heard of this game. Boogie Wings. If I put a credit in, I start it. Yeah, it's you know, ragtime, like I don't know what you call it. It feels steampunkish, but it, you know, that kind of thing. Really wacky retake of history. And you can see playing around the boulder on the back. You can swing that into things if you spin around like that. Get it swinging around. Obviously, you shoot stuff, but when your plane goes down, which it will do after you get hit twice, you can then get into other vehicles like road-based ones, tanks, you know, horses, elephants, you name it. It's quite crazy. And you can press the B button to drop the bomb like that, and you can even hook things onto the back like that and swing those around. You can see I've had one hit there. It's totally crazy. It really is. And the levels play out in a crazy way as well. You do some nuts stuff. Now you can see my plane's gone now, so I'm on foot. There you go. Now I'm in a tank. But I never heard about this. I never saw it in the arcades. Oh, I've just took a hit again. And I'm out again. Running around on top of it, look. How crazy. I don't know why, I'm thinking of Sensible Soccer and Sensible games where they had a little sprite like that, you know, little guy. So small when he comes out of his vehicle. There you go, it's gone down. Yeah, you get a bit further on here and there's like a Ferris wheel and it rolls the whole rest of the map. Oh, it's on the next one, the Ferris wheel. But yeah, very cool. I'm quite surprised there were no home ports to this. That music is great. Yeah, so you can pick your level here as well. Yeah, this is the one. Oh, there's a Santa Claus one here, that's crazy. Coney Island, let's just do that. Because, like I say, you shoot the Ferris wheel and it just rolls the whole rest of the map from that point on. The way this stage ends is cool as well. Here's the Ferris wheel, look. There you go, it's come off. You could get in that train if you wanted, and there was a robot we passed a minute ago that you can climb into. Oh, there's the first wheel again. It's banging into me, that. Yeah, the way this stage ends, you get like a haunted house, I think, with a massive, what's it called, Frankenstein. It's quite cool. I mean, it feels out of place. Everything feels out of place. It's a crazy game. Oh, I've just crashed. Oh, on the top of the thing. Down the train, look. Oh, we're on a horse now. It's the crazy music that gets me. Well, that little dog. See that little dog that follows you around. Or is it a cat? I'm not sure which. What are those two guys doing up there? Oh, they're dead there. There you go, got a different vehicle. Press down and your grenade button or rocket button, whatever it is, bomb button, to change, you know, to jump out of the vehicle. Like Metal Slug style, really, isn't it? I think we're approaching the end boss here now, at the crazy haunted house or whatever it is. I love the music again at this part. You can see him on the piano in a sec, or the organ, I guess it is. Nicely animated, isn't it? It's that same craziness as Parodius. That's what they're aiming for. We're going to be wrapping up in a sec, but I think I'd have some annoyed people if I didn't just show one or two more colours. So, Super Nintendo. Yeah, you'd be forgiven for thinking you're playing on the real thing. Sounds perfect, video perfect, all the same stuff I've been saying all the way through this video, just amazing. That Alexei Melnikov, absolutely incredible guy. And obviously there are many of the genius people who worked on this. You know, I mentioned Jatego a few times in this video, Furtek, but there are, you know, other developers as well. If you want to keep up the news for the MiSTer, I'll post a link down below to a channel that I watch, Cherry Pixel Ninja or something, I think it is. Well worth watching, because he's always covering, like, you know, updates to cores, new cores, etc. So check his channel out. Yeah, what I was saying before though, about all the amazing people that have worked on this, there are more people than you might expect, so let's just turn this down. You've got people like Stephen Leary, I mentioned previously, who did a load of the stuff, the Archimedes core, if not most of it. You've got Electron Ash, who's been helping with the Saturn core and various other cores, and contribute, you know, quite a bit. So yeah, there's lots and lots and lots of people behind the scenes contribute towards the MiSTer, which is why we're in a state of, you know, so many amazing cores that work pretty much perfectly. So that's the SNES. Atari Lynx, which is close to home for me because I've done some development stuff on this. 1.07 will come out for this because, yeah, there was... hang on, I didn't press the right button, did I? Yeah, there was a bug or two that I need to resolve. But yeah, it's just like an Atari Lynx, apart from the fact it's on a huge screen. It's quite fun playing it on a large screen like this. Yeah, it handles the sound perfectly. It feels pretty much one-to-one, if you ask me. So I'm very pleased with that. Atari 7800. Fantastic. Game Boy. You've also got Game Boy Advance and Neo Geo Pocket, you know, you name it, it's like everything. It's great. Yeah, for sale. Everything I own, basically. It's like, it's really cool. I never would have imagined, you know, 20 years ago, that I'd be in a position like this now where an amazing device like this exists. Master System. And obviously you saw the Mega Drive. Oh, you will see the Mega Drive in a bit, I think. So cool. And 64.
Make your selection. Your mission begins now.
I don't know what the fire button is. What's the fire button? Oh yeah, and the control scheme is not set up properly for this controller. Can only fire to the left, apparently. That's going to be an interesting challenge. Should be an achievement for that. Like, completed a round, only being able to fire in one direction. ZX Spectrum. Yeah, Commodore Amiga. I'm going to do a separate video on this, I think. So, the nice thing with this core is there's work ongoing all the time on this. One of the guys in my Discord, I'll stick his name up top left, he's actually been working on an 030 core, and he's pretty much there, including the MMU. He's such a talented guy, he really is. But it's thanks to people like him, and thanks to the original Alexei Melnikov there, and Rock Crack, I can't say that, I'm sorry, I've mispronounced your name there, and various other people. In theory, if you want an Amiga, you could actually run an Amiga from this, and it should run pretty well. Looking at the performance of how the 020 runs and the 030, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's not like you're going to be able to simulate a 50 megahertz 060 or something like that, but I think a fairly fast 030 is achievable. But yeah, we'll revisit that in another video. Of course, the Atari ST is a little bit easier because it just does the TOS ROM, which is, well, built in. Similar thing with this, it should just work, I think. Yep, there you go. Fantastic. And you can move the mouse around. Sweet. Apple IIe. It's a bit underwhelming to demonstrate there, isn't it? It's just got the text at the top. It's probably trying to auto boot a disk, isn't it? Let's try Apple 1. Is that going to be any different? It might just give us a prompt, I don't know. It's just a backslash at the top, look, and an @ Hello world. I'm not pretending that I even know whether it's got a basic interpreter there. Yay, that works. Atari Jaguar. Wonder Swan colour. Yeah, you can see the Star Wars core there. What I'm hoping with this is that we get a tweak where, I don't know, the intensity of these could be brightened. That's actually the highest level you can actually have them at the moment. And, well, it just feels a bit dark. It might be alright on a better TV, you know, a larger screen, but I'm struggling to see that. Here we go. And obviously got the reversed up-down here. But this would be really good for one of those little USB controllers that's like a remake of the original one that's in the cabinets. You can get them because I've seen people fitting them to, you know, replica controller that I think is USB. I'd like to get one of those, but they're really expensive for like £200 or £300 or something. What I'd probably do is get a cabinet, build a cabinet, stick this in there, and use that controller. Put that controller as well as a joystick, maybe. Really cool, though.
Get 5, I'm going in.
Yeah, now look at it, it's not too bad actually. The green lines are really bright there. I just feel like it'd be nice if there was an option to make them a bit thicker maybe, and a bit brighter, I don't know. But it's good as it is, I think. It's faithful. Cool. Just let them hit me. I just like listening to the sound on this game, all the speech, which I covered in one of the BBC videos. It's worth watching that. Same chip was using the BBC, and a chap actually had already ported the Spectrum, Star Wars samples to it. I say samples, they're not really samples. And I did Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Anyway, there'll be a link to that top right. Yeah, that shield's nearly gone. Oh, no shields. Certainly is. No shields at the end of that. Very cool. I was about to switch the camera off there, and then I just remembered something that I really want to share with you. Not the fighting Double Dragon, but a new version of Double Dragon. It was based on that, was it a Brazilian console? I think it was. Done by La Casa de Ruivo, I can't say that. in 2025. Anyway, it's been out a year, this. I think it's version 3 or 4, the beta. So cool. Even the intro's cool. I find myself loading this and listening to this intro. It's really cool. It goes on, that music, and it's just really well done. It's hypnotic watching the double dragon spin around the dragon. And the wavy text. Obviously it's all done with lookup tables, probably for the... Well, it might not be. It could be done in code, really, for the actual positioning. And then just shifting sprites around. Same with the flames. It's going to be, you know, animated set of tiles, isn't it, for the flames? Really cool. Anyway, let's start that. Yeah, so it's well worth getting MiSTer just for the Neo Geo stuff in my mind. Because you can play everything, and it all plays perfectly. And this game is fantastic. It's on itch. I skipped that then. It's on itch.io. It's one of those games I think you can pay what you want, you know, or just donate to the author. I donated. So it's like taking the best of the Game Boy Advance version, that Brazilian console, whatever it is, I can't remember the name of, I'll stick it top left. And, you know, obviously some creative stuff that they've done themselves. It's fantastic. Can't get enough of it. And it's the full game. There's quite a lot of moves you can do as well, but also Night's Chance, that's now available to buy, so I bought a ROM of that. I sold my copy of that to King Arthur, which incidentally he's got a problem with it working on his Neo Geo, the same problem I had originally had, where it just doesn't detect it when it's in. I think he needs to adjust that plastic spacer to fit his AES. Yeah, we got a port of Shinobi. A port of Shinobi. I didn't expect this. There's a few cool games here from Hoffman. So, you know, synonymous with, you know, music, DJ, hacking, and the Amiga scene in particular. He's a friend of Stephen Leary's, and yeah, he's created a version of Shinobi for this. It's a port, you know, so he's disassembled the 68k source code, I think. I assume it was 68k the original. He's certainly done that with the next game I'll show you in a minute, actual 68k source code, and then just reverse engineered it and ported it to the Neo Geo. And it plays, looks and sounds pretty much just like the arcade. And I'm dead. But anyway, trust me, I've played that a fair bit and it plays just like the arcade. Sounds, looks just like it. But he's also done, where is it now? Golden, you're thinking? Golden Axe. Yep, he's done the same thing. He's actually reversed the arcade version. Bear in mind it used a 68k and a Z80 for the sub-sound system. So if you think about it, it's one of those games that's going to translate fairly well. But obviously, you know, here, the video architecture, the I/O and stuff, and the address decoding backbone of the system is very different. But, well, he's nailed it. He's, you know, just done an amazing job. And there's a CD version of this as well. The music on the intro there is from the CD version. I could show you that as well, I guess. Gotta wait for that to get past, I think. Yeah, so special thanks to those people for this game, Furtek, Darksoft, and a few others. Stick a credit in. It sounds perfect. See, the sound hardware's not dissimilar either. It's got the best of everything here. It's got the subtitles, you know, in Japanese, and then the English. And it's obviously the Japanese is default with the blood and all that stuff. You get a different intro, I think, with the Japanese version of this in the arcade. Bear in mind, you can play the arcade version, MiSTer, you know, on the same MiSTer, using the you know, the arcade core for that. The point is, though, this is ported to the Neo Geo, and I've tried this on one of my flash carts for the Neo Geo. I've only got one actually. The other one I sent to someone to say thank you for everything they've done for me, and I'd like to do that for more people that have helped me out. So yeah, I've only got one of those Neo SDs, but the Neo SD, it plays on it perfectly. It works perfect, as does Double Dragon, as does Shinobi. Yeah, so it's that same CD audio based intro that you get on the cartridge version, but then you get a full CD audio soundtrack done by Richard Douglas. I'm not sure if he used AI as part of that. I'm guessing so. I mean, it sounds fantastic, it really does. So, you know, credit to him for doing that. So you can hear the music there. It's very quiet, but it's CD. Turn up a bit. Anyway, I do hope you found that interesting and useful in some way. As I say, subscribe to the extra channel down below if you want to see some additional coverage of the MiSTer. We'll look at it on the main channel again as well moving forward, because there's going to be other things we can change in here hardware wise, and yeah, there may be other cores and things that I feel, you know, need a video on the main channel. Huge thanks to Lee Smith's Workshop. Do check his channel out, links will be down below. Yeah, and follow the links down below to Terasic and to the company behind the MiSTer Pi. I forgot what they're called now. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video.